Good morning. How are you all this fine morning? Hold on, I'm just trying to let some sunlight in. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I'm just getting ready for my day. So, what did I do? I put on like my base makeup and my eyebrows, and I did put on eyeshadow primer already, but I'm going to put on some more. This is the Kaleidos Tone Activator primer because I got distracted, so it kind of dried down and I need it to be wet to help my eyeshadow stick. So yeah, why am I up at this ungodly hour, you ask? It's because I have to go in for an interview of sorts, like an Uber app user interview. Just one of those research things that I sometimes get emails about. Since I can speak Japanese, so a lot of times these research companies will reach out to me, or I think there's probably a database out there that maybe they access because it's not necessarily the same company all the time, but they'll reach out to me and ask if I'm interested in doing certain surveys or interviews and whatnot. And like usually if it's not something remote, just like an online survey or something, if it's an in-person type of deal, I typically won't go unless it's like at least 10,000 yen, right? Because it's not really worth it to me, especially since I live in Chofu, which is usually far away from where most of these companies are based, which is more in central Tokyo. Anyway, not to bore you to death, but I am going to put my blush on first, as usual, because I like to cover a little bit of the outer corner of my eyes with blush. So I'm actually going to go in with this pink in this palette this time. Usually I'll go in with the Can Make powder cheeks, but I realized yesterday night after I went out to dinner with some members of my team for yakitori, it was actually the first time since I've been back in Tokyo that I went out with anyone publicly to go eat. And I was kind of reminded that sometimes when it comes to makeup, I'm so used to doing my makeup for the camera because I create content that I tend to forget from time to time, like how much harsher it can come across in person. Because on camera, makeup for the camera and makeup for like in-person natural lighting, that type of stuff, they're two very different things. So I'm trying to demure it down today because, like, not that my makeup ever looks bad, but sometimes I'll get up to go use the bathroom or something and catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and it's like, wow, I didn't realize that my blush or just all the product on my face looked so harsh and that's a shame because there's really no reason for it to look harsh, right? So anyway, that's why I titled this live Demure Makeup, because that's what we're trying to give today. See, you can barely see that through the camera. Also because my webcam kind of sucks. Let me see if it helps if I turn down the light. I'm just filming on my MacBook camera, so unfortunately it's not actually that great quality. But yeah, I'm kind of on a schedule today, so. Okay, just return that to original settings. But yeah, it's very washed out on camera because of the lights and everything. But if you were to see me in person, it's actually very visible, I feel like, this blush. But because it's so light, it looks very, very demure, just like a light flush of color. So yeah, another thing that I was thinking last night um, was that I wouldn't mind signing up for like 1 to 3 personal makeup classes where I could just get like a local professional, local meaning like someone who specializes in Asian makeup, an Asian makeup artist, like Nina Park or someone. Not that particular person because I'm sure she would charge. I'm sure she's not exactly within my budget, but yeah, I'm going to start looking on Instagram for like local Tokyo based, Japan based makeup artists and see if they offer classes. If I find one whose style I really, really like, I might um, challenge myself to go and take at least one class with that person. Because I realized also yesterday. So can you tell I'm like low key kind of traumatized by catching a glimpse of myself in the mirror last night when I went to the bathroom and not thinking that it looked horrible or anything, but just being taken aback by like how harsh certain things look. For example, my blush. Usually I apply it so that it can come across really nicely on camera. So I just do the same style that I always do when I'm ready to film a video, right? Without thinking that, oh, wait, you have to adjust, Ren, hello, if you're going to go out in public. Because when people see you in person, that's where they really get like the 8K close up version or viewing of you. So I just want to be that girl, this year. And like I said, following with the theme of self auditing and pushing ourselves to try new things and to level up even more, I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to swallow my pride and just go ahead and enroll myself in a proper makeup class. And that's the thing, like once I said it out loud, or once I said that definitively to myself, like maybe you should go ahead and book a consultation or like a personal makeup lesson. That was the moment that I realized I didn't even realize up until then that I was somehow subconsciously harboring this chip on my shoulder, right? Like this idea that, oh, I don't need anyone to teach me makeup though. I've been reviewing it on YouTube for like 8 years and never been professional, but like I'm already really good at makeup. What are you talking about? I already know exactly what I like. I already have the best taste out of anyone that I know when it comes to the quality of products. And so without realizing it, I feel like I was subconsciously, um, again, having a chip on my shoulder or subconsciously like pushing away the idea that I would ever need professional help or intervention, right? When that's, it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it, because just because I go to take a makeup class, or even if I take several makeup classes from, let's say, different artists, because every artist has their different style as well, that why would I automatically attribute that to me not being skilled in makeup, right? Why why is that my first thought instead of, hey, this is something that I could do to improve my skills, this is something that I can do to expand my horizons and learn new tricks and tips. So I'm a work in progress as well. Even with something like seemingly as inconsequential and frivolous as makeup, I'm also very subconsciously driven by my ego and my internal biases, like everyone else. And it's fine to be that way. It's fine to be human. None of us are perfect, but um, when you actively, audit yourself, ask yourself the hard questions, check in with yourself, hold yourself accountable, right? That's the key. When you are committed to holding yourself accountable, to not let your ego get the best of you, and if you make a concerted decision to act in your highest alignment and to make moves that are dedicated to serving your level up rather than serving your ego, then I think naturally you'll get more and more used to and comfortable with the idea of like challenging yourself along the way and asking yourself the question, okay, am I avoiding this thing, or am I making a certain decision based on my ego, or like what's the reason? Is it a scheduling thing, like an inconvenience thing, or is it because my ego feels threatened in some way? Or do I have, an inferiority complex in some way or the other? Like it's very, very important to get to the root of the real issue or reason behind why we do the things we do. Because only when we bring those issues to the light can we start to um, determine whether or not it's a good reason to do or not do something, and then we can level up from there. So let me see. Yeah, keeping it demure today, going back to basics, and I'm just gonna go with, someone asked me if I knew a dupe for, wait, hold on, let me not get ahead of myself. Oh my god, where is that palette? Give me 1 second. Oh my god, I'm so hot now. You know what's crazy? I was wearing this huge, like, comfy, warm sweater before I came on today, and then I forced myself to change into a jacket and a shirt because I didn't want to look like a potato sack on camera. Um, but it's so cold these days that, I can't help it except to just wear my huge, shaggy sweaters around the house. But now I'm hot because I guess when I start talking and getting animated, that's when that's when my internal temperature rises as well. But oh my god, wait, where is my freaking Can Make palette? I'm looking for the Can Make Glitter Mania palette because word on the street is it's going viral on TikTok. Lame Mania, Glitter Mania. And somebody asked me on one of my TikToks if I could suggest a dupe for the topper shade in the center here. So this is the Dolce & Gabbana Ever Icon palette in 02 Rose Goddess. And the middle shade here is just a really pretty, like, pink, slightly iridescent topper shade, which is hard panning like nobody's business right now. What's going on? Okay, but yeah, this is what it looks like, right? I don't know if you can see. It's just a sheer topper shade. Actually, that's very underwhelming. Okay, I don't remember it being this hard pan the last time I used this, but anyway, that's how it looks. So someone asked me if I could suggest an affordable dupe for that, and I definitely got you covered, girl. So the Can Make Lame Mania eyeshadow duo in 02. This is the pinkier shade. I don't know what the name is, but this pink shade on the left here is pretty much a dead ringer, but except this one, ooh, this one is so much more like creamy and smooth, and you see how that lifted onto my finger so much easier, and it has more impact. Okay, actually, you know what, it looks nothing like the Dolce & Gabbana. This one is the Can Make. So the Dolce & Gabbana is more of like a champagne gold, and the Can Make is more of a cooler toned mauve pink base. But let's see if maybe this one. No, this one is more, even more of like a white, bright champagne, almost silvery leaning. But anyway, if you were to mix these two right here, these are the Can Makes. If you mix them, you would basically get the Dolce & Gabbana. But you can see like the texture is pretty much completely the same, right? I can't tell the difference which one is the expensive Dolce & Gabbana and which one is the Can Make. This is under 1,000 yen, as most of Can Make's products are. So normally I would not advertise a Can Make eyeshadow product on my channel because you guys know how I feel about Can Make eyeshadows. Definitely not the biggest fan, but they kind of ate with this one, Lame Mania. So let me get a clean brush, or I could just use my finger, but I'm really averse to using my finger. Like, no matter how many times the professionals tell us that our finger is the best tool for blending and whatnot, I just can't really ever get with it. I'm going to use a brush, you know? And if it can't be used with a brush, I'll just go find another product that cooperates better with the brush. By the way, speaking of makeup, sorry, this is random, but did you guys hear that Pat McGrath is going bankrupt, or they already filed bankruptcy or something? I mean, I can't say I'm shocked because I feel like the brand was floundering for a while now, compounded with the fact that I think one of the telltale signs was when Pat McGrath herself, the artist, signed on as creative director for the Louis Vuitton makeup line. Like, that was kind of a red flag to me initially. And also the fact that Denison Myricks is now kind of filling in that spot of like the it girl, indies, but really high quality like makeup for artists. So yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of sad about it though. Cuz I didn't imagine it would be that bad to the point where they would have to file bankruptcy. Like, in my mind, Pat McGrath is still a very iconic name and brand. But yeah, I don't even know if I don't keep up with makeup news like that, so I don't know if Pat McGrath herself is still even legally involved with, or the owner of Pat McGrath Labs. But I hope they can make a comeback at some point. I hope this is not the end of the road for Pat McGrath. Okay. I need to figure out how to live stream with my actual camera. I feel like, because if I want to make this more of a regular thing, like Get Ready With Me lives, I would want it to be at least semi-decent quality so that you can see, a true representation of the finishes of the makeup. Because everything looks good when the camera is subpar quality, right? Oops. Oh my god. I think I just messed up my eyeliner already. But yeah, I think I'm really going to look into that. I'm really going to make it a goal. Not this month because there's only 2 days left in it, but maybe for February, I'll see if I can find a makeup artist on Instagram that I like who offers personal makeup lessons, and take one from him or her. Ooh, do you guys think, well, I guess it would depend on, again, the individual makeup artist's portfolio and stuff, but do you guys think that a man or a woman would be better? Just intuitively speaking. Like, which one would you rather go to? Actually, you know what? I don't like to pay money to men if I can help it. So it's probably going to 90% chance be a woman. But I was just thinking, like, sometimes, you know, they think that male beauticians who mainly serve women customers, so like male makeup artists or hairdressers, some people are of the belief that it's better to go to a male as a woman because they see you from the male gaze essentially. So if you want to look like super attractive as possible to the opposite sex, it's better to go to an actual man because since he's a man, he already kind of like instinctively knows the small little tweaks and techniques to make you really stand out to other men, right? But then, of course, you know, if you don't care about the male gaze and if you're not interested whatsoever in looking good for the fellas, if you're more into like, I don't know, looking modern, like having a very updated makeup look or having a look that really just suits your features, then maybe you should go to a woman. I don't know why I brought that up. It's kind of just a generalization, but that's what I heard some people say to me before. Like some of my friends swear on going only to male hairdressers. But me, on the other hand, you guys know my philosophy. I don't believe in giving money to men for anything. I mean, if it's like a manly chore, like the maintenance repair guy or the plumber or something, then yes, of course. I'll be a male professional to take care of it. But even in those cases, honestly, if there were more women in those professions, I would hire the woman over the man in a heartbeat because simply because women need the money more than men, okay, historically. That's just the fact of the matter. Like men in general make more than women. So I would feel good about at least doing my small part in trying to tip the scales, if you know what I mean. But yeah. Okay. I was thinking, yeah, maybe I just put a tiny bit of. See, I need to like resist the urge to pile on more and more makeup because again, if I'm trying to look demure in person, then less is always more. But you know what? While we're here, let me just put a tiny bit of brown on the outer third, just very close to the lash line so that I can have a little bit of definition there. But yeah. Oh, another thing that I really want to kind of like, I really think it would be a good idea to learn directly from a makeup artist professional is I am just interested in learning their tips and tricks. Sorry. I'm like losing my train of thought. I cannot multitask for the life of me. But sometimes okay, and what I don't mean this in any shady way towards the creators that I'm talking about, but sometimes I'll see like older beauty creators in maybe their late 40s and their late 30s and up, so 30s, 40s, and I will find that in some cases, right, especially if it's like a non-professional, if they are just a makeup enthusiast like me and they've been reviewing makeup online for several years, they're you know, they're a long-standing member of the beauty community online, all that good stuff. Sometimes I find that their techniques they don't necessarily switch up their techniques as the years go on, right? Because the older you get, the more settled you get in your ways, and it's like you've already found what works for your face, you already know what your preferences are. But sometimes I feel like that can work to people's detriment because a lot of girls, um, well, not a lot, but some of them I notice that they still cling to certain makeup techniques that make them look outdated only because everyone else has already kind of moved on to a different technique, right? So, for example, like in my case, you know what, I can talk about myself now too. I feel like my eyebrows, you could say that they're dated because, like, I never was able to really master the art of drawing like the individual strokes. um, I've tried it before, I've bought the pens with the super thin brushes and I've tried it, but it just never looks good on my face because I think, you know what, it's because I have no prominent brow bone whatsoever. Like my face is completely flat here. I have no bone structure whatsoever to help me out in the eyebrow department. So, cut me some slack here. But yeah, as a result of that, it's kind of like I never really um I just decided to stick with just this regular, powder block brow essentially, like a smudged out block brow so that it doesn't look so harsh, but it doesn't look necessarily like the most modern thing, right? Because I think when I think of a modern eyebrow, definitely individual strokes is an important aspect of that. And, like I try my best to kind of catch that vibe by making sure that I use my brow mascara. Um, but it's still not the same. Maybe I should just get microblading done, right? But then again, microblading is expensive. Everything is expensive. There's a lot of stuff I want to get done actually in the realm of beauty procedures. So I need to choose carefully what I'm going to allocate my budget to. But yeah, I'll see other creators sometimes as well where I feel like, okay, their lipstick technique, like everything else about their face looks fresh and updated. And maybe they're like in their 40s, but they look great for their age. They could pass for like early 30s. But then the giveaway sometimes is that there's just one aspect of their makeup that looks a little bit dated, right? Like for example, the way that they do their lips. Um excuse me. And it's no shade. This is not me putting anyone down. It's just that like I think that's something that I could possibly benefit a lot from if I took lessons from a professional, because then they could, you know, professionals that are the working makeup artists right now, they're gonna know the latest um the latest what's the word? Oh my god, why am I blanking? They're gonna know what's popping right now in terms of the aesthetics, the preferred aesthetic for certain makeup styles. Because honestly, like that's a huge part of what makes you look quote unquote young or old, if you think about it, right? Like not many people pay as much attention to necessarily wrinkles or those kinds of aging signs. I mean, these days, like skincare technology is so good that you really should have no excuse but to have really moisturized and good quality skin at any age, as long as you take care of it, right? As long as you invest in your skincare, your base should look fine. But then it's like, okay, wouldn't it be a waste though if you spent all this time maintaining your skin and maintaining like a healthy, active lifestyle, drinking lots of water, all of that stuff? Wouldn't it be a shame if you did all of that, but then you still like gave yourself away by um hanging on to an outdated makeup technique, right? Like I really would love the opportunity to kind of pick up the tips of the trade from a current working makeup artist. Like eyeliner is a big one too, right? Um, the women that do that raccoon eyeliner to this day where they line their entire eye with jet black or something, you can tell that they probably got their makeup education during a certain time period, like the 90s or the 80s. And not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing or anything, but techniques have improved since then, you know? There's like thousands and thousands of endless options for us these days. It's not like back in the day where we were all trying to make a one size fits all look work for our face. Now we understand there's so many different types of facial types and features and the balance of the face. I think they call it low contrast versus high contrast, that kind of stuff. Ooh, yeah. If I could find a makeup artist that can teach me like which one am I? Am I low contrast? Am I high contrast? Which I'm sure that it will not be hard to find someone like that here in Japan. That would be greatly helpful to me because I'm not a fan of like self-diagnosing myself online. I find that I tend to just pick um, the style that I personally prefer, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure, you know, whether it's the one that technically suits me the most or not. But then again, at the same time as I'm saying all of this, um, none of it is that serious, right? At the end of the day, you should just prioritize what makes you feel good or what looks right and what feels right to you. But I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of value in expanding on our horizons, especially since it's makeup. You know, it's something that you can wash off at the end of the day, so it's not like some life changing thing. If the person puts on um, a new style of makeup on your face and you end up not liking it, you can just wash it off at the end of the day and go back to what you always did before anyway. So it's not like high stakes, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I gotta put these lashes on, the bane of my existence. I am running late already, actually. Not late, late, like I'm gonna be late, but um, it's like 9 a.m. right now because I was gonna work from 9 to 10:30 a.m. and then I was gonna leave at 10:30 so that I could have ample time to get to my Uber interview at 12 p.m. But it's already 9, so okay, let me try to finish by 9:30, then I'll have, like, a solid hour of being able to catch up on all my tasks at my day job, and then I'll go to the Uber interview, and then I might eat lunch outside somewhere, or maybe I just won't eat, because I feel like that's also the vibe these days, you know, like, don't eat unless you're hungry. Or I don't wanna say I'm OMAD, but I'm a fan of eating, like, a big meal, one big meal every day, and then just sporadically, um, throughout the rest of the day whenever I get hungry. Yeah, I don't like to follow a time schedule, if you couldn't tell. And I don't know if that's something that I need to work on, or is it a sign that I really just need to, like, start my own business and really get on my entrepreneur grind? Because this 9 to 5 life ain't it, which is crazy coming from me because I'm probably out of everyone I know, I have probably the most flexible job out of anyone. It's almost fully remote, and basically everyone leaves me alone. I don't have anyone like micromanaging or breathing down my back, which I'm so grateful for. But then at the same time, at the end of the day, it's still a 9 to 5. And like psychologically, I don't know how much longer I can take it, you know? I don't like these psychological long-term effects of being like a salaried employee. Like this is one of the reasons, believe it or not, why I refuse to deal with salaried men as well, like men that work for a fixed salary. Because why would I do that? Why would I, if I'm gonna deal with a man, why would I deal with someone that's at my same level in terms of earning? Like even if he has a higher salary than me, if his earnings are capped every year, I don't want to be with someone like that when there's guys out here that have multiple businesses and therefore it's not even about the monetary value, it's more like the mentality, right? Because the guys with fixed incomes are always like more conscientious about how much they're spending. You can feel it. It's an energy when you're on the date. Even if you're on a date and like he's treating you to a nice place, you can feel that okay, they budgeted this though for this month, right? Like maybe, you know, just hypothetically speaking, um you can feel that, okay, he probably calculated that it's an average of $200 to $300 per date, so he cannot afford to take me out on a date for more than 4 times max per month. Like, I don't wanna be with a guy that has to calculate and count pennies when it comes to impressing me, if that makes sense. I notice the guys that, own their own businesses, the guys that do their own thing, and they don't have necessarily a salary cap, right? Like, the more they work, the more they can earn, theoretically. Those guys don't have that kind of mentality to where, "Okay, I gotta stay within a certain budget this month." And, like, that's where I'm trying to get to, ultimately, right? So why would I entertain a man that is not already ahead of me, who can teach me a few things, teach me the ropes, you know? That's another reason why I try to, as much as I can, I try to avoid socializing with coworkers, because I don't wanna soak up their lack mentality. Even though we are technically in the same place in the 3D, like, mentally speaking, on a vibration level, I'm already 10 steps ahead. So I don't wanna hear limiting talk around me, you know? Yeah, it's funny. Last year, I feel like this was a conscious decision on my part, so I'm not complaining or anything, but I'm just kind of taking stock. Last year, I feel like I spent a lot of my own money and my own resources in order to be able to participate in certain events and to place myself in certain rooms. I was deliberate about, you know, allocating my money to things like that. Um, like, I gave myself full range to I specifically decided that I was gonna use my money towards, like, directly towards my social climbing goals, which was not so far-fetched if you think about it, because it's true, like, a lot of the any event that's worth going to, usually it does come with an entrance fee. Like, the ones that are free are the ones that are most hit or miss, and it's like, instead of going to 10 free events and maybe having only 2 of them be something worthwhile, you might as well just go find, 2 paid events that are really kind of a good match for exactly what you're looking for. But then this year, I feel like, okay, because last year I did all of that, and then I actually manifested, I was able to realize my ultimate desired outcome, which was to win a Grand Prix in my beauty pageant. So now that that's mission accomplished, you know? Now I feel like, okay, so I can move to the next level, which in my mind is, instead of paying to attend certain events or being in certain rooms, now I only want to go to places that I personally have been invited to, right? Like, somebody saw that my presence there was going to be an asset in and of itself. And so that's why they extended me the personal invitation. And usually in those cases, that means that I wouldn't have to pay, right? Like, my presence, whatever I bring to the table is already the payment. So there's no um, need for me to come out of my own pocket to pay money. And so we'll see how that goes this year. Like, so far, it's been good. You know, I said no to 3 paid events, paid things that I could have easily gone to if I just decided to buy a ticket, but I opted out of it because I decided that my money was better spent elsewhere. And then I only went to the one, last night with my coworkers at work, which I didn't have to pay for, obviously, because they used the company card to cover for our dinner and our drinks and everything. But I got a lot out of that, right? I got a guarantee from my line manager that he was going to look into how to transition me into a permanent employee at my company. So yeah, I think this year, I think that's a good sign, that my strategy is working. So this year, we're gonna do our best. We're gonna pivot to like the next level, right? Last year I was paying to attend certain events and to place myself strategically uh, amongst certain crowds. This year I'm only gonna I'm gonna mainly focus on events that specifically reached out to me because they wanted me specifically to be there. And who knows, maybe next year we can go to an even higher level that I'm only going to go to events where they pay me, right? And this would be the level that a lot of people who do speeches or they are keynote speakers for, like various conferences and retreats and whatnot, those people are at that level, right? They command a fee, a public speaking fee in exchange for appearing at any person or any organization's event. So we will see how this goes. Or I could meet a millionaire somewhere in the rich part of town when I'm teleworking and get married and then get rich the fast way, because that is always an option for women, lest you forget. The only caveat for me is that, unfortunately, I don't know why I'm like this, but I have this thing where I really just I'm not willing to seriously deal with a guy unless I'm actually attracted to him reciprocally as well. Like, I'm not one of those girls that can just brainwash myself into thinking an old, ugly guy is desirable physically just because he has money, unfortunately. Um, they gotta come with the whole package for me. Like, you have to have money, and also I like older. Older is fine. I'll go up to 10, 15 years even, but they also have to be attractive to me. So, doesn't mean they have to be Brad Pitt or, like, Hollywood level Ken doll attractive. In fact, I don't even like those types personally, but they have to be my my type. So, yeah. But I'm so sick of, like, relationship content. I really kinda wanna veer away from that this year if possible, like, talk about decentering men. So, okay, let's go live the rest of our lives then, right? Like, let's stop sitting around and worrying about a group of people that is supposed to be the pursuer anyway. Like, aren't the men are the ones that are supposed to come up with all the strategies and whatnot to get our attention. And as a woman, especially like a predominantly feminine identified woman, your job is just to become the best version of you that you possibly can. So I'm talking spiritually, mentally. You should always be 100% focused on your own level up. And naturally, that's going to get you noticed. That's going to attract to you all of the opportunities, all of the men that are on the level that you're looking for. But you have to get to that level first as a woman. So I feel like, yeah, we're standing on business this year. And I'm not saying yes to anything that depletes me of my resources. I don't gotta get paid outright in cash necessarily for every single thing, but at least it has to be a completely at least it has to result in some tangible benefit for me at the end of the day in order for me to participate in anything. I feel like that's the only way to go if you're a woman on a mission to elevate in this life. Like, there's just no other choice. When you're 10, 20 years down the line, when you are already rich and you have all your investment properties and all your ducks lined in a row and you get bored, then, you know, do whatever you want, right? Like, go to things just for the heck of it. But until I get to where I wanna be personally, there's really just no point, right, in overextending myself for other people. Alright, I like the way that my eyelashes look today, oh my goodness. But I don't know if these are the best lashes necessarily though, um, 'cause, I remember this one box that I had from Shein. I could never find it again after I used it up, but those eyelashes were the best. Something about the curvature right at the base of the lashes, it was like a very it was almost like a sharp 45-degree angle, and it just really worked with the shape of my eyes. These are good as well, but you can see there is a very like the curve of the eyelashes is very subtle, right? Very demure. It's just like a slight curve. But the Shein ones that I tried, they had kind of almost a kink, like right here near the sorry. Oh my god, you can't see. Right near the base of, the glue line. There was like a slight kink that gave it just that much more of a lift. Those were the best lashes and the most natural looking. Because these, they kind of just go straight up, which is fine because um, I can maneuver it. I can maneuver each one to attach at the exact angle that I want, but it just doesn't have the same effect. I don't know. Oh my god, I have so many things I want to do. I don't know like where to start. I want to get eyebrow microblading, but I think if I'm honest, that's probably gonna have to be near the bottom of my list because I'm sure if I just practice enough, again, if I invest in that lesson, the makeup lesson from a professional artist, I'm sure I can learn how to do more natural, like individual brow strokes. And I should probably, you know what I can also look into? I can also look into lash serums or like eyebrow serum. Did I say lash or brows? Eyebrows is what I'm talking about. Um, because I think they have eyebrow serums as well. If I could use that to help grow out my brow hairs a little more, I think that in itself would also be very helpful because I have very sparse brows due to overplucking in high school. But if you look at my pictures from when I was like in elementary school, I actually had really, really full brows. I'm talking like it was almost a unibrow situation. But I think because of that, I overcorrected and I started plucking the living daylights out of my eyebrows as soon as I entered high school. And then they just never grew back like on the ends, which was really detrimental to me, actually, unbeknownst to me at the time. Cause like, yeah, I need to extend my eyebrows out more so that I can balance my face, right? Because I don't exactly have like the thinnest face or anything. So if I want my face to look you know, proportionate and not pancakey. I have to make my brows longer at the end. But what else do I want to get done? I think the first priority would be more of something along the lines of either like a facelift, which I lied because I'm actually too scared. Like every time I think about it, it's very scary. They have facelifts where the string or whatever dissolves in your face after. So it's not just like a string that is a foreign object in your face the whole time. It's made of like amino acids or something. Anyway, it dissolves, right? But then my thing is like, that's why I'm scared to ever try Botox either, because that shit stays in your face. Like it doesn't ever completely go away. It just kind of migrates and stays in your face. So I think it's crazy how some people go in for Botox periodically because I'm like, how though? That it never leaves your face completely. Am I missing something? So yeah, anything that's like injectable or adding foreign objects to my face, I'm very weary about. But like a facelift, I feel like, I don't know, if I do enough research, maybe I can find a place or a technique that I feel comfortable with. Um, Either that or I kind of also I want to get rid of my smile lines. just like the tiniest lift, like that. I don't know. Because I've never gotten anything major done. I feel like it's about time that I experiment. First, I got to take that makeup lesson, right? Because I want to make sure that I maximize everything um, that is non invasive first. Like, maximize the makeup, maximize the skincare, drink a lot of water, use my Medicube. Wait, no, not this one. This is my tripod. What am I talking about? Use my Medicube booster tool on a more consistent basis. Drink collagen, all of that stuff. All of the topical stuff, I'm going to maximize to the best of my ability. And then if I still feel not 100% satisfied at the end, like that's when I'll really consider, a facelift or something. I don't even know what's out there nowadays because I'm so out of the loop. I mean, I know that girls are getting Monjaro left and right here in Tokyo because it's actually really affordable, I think, compared to other countries. Yeah, anything dealing with like weight loss or body transformation, I don't think I'm gonna have to go the invasive route for that because I think your body, or my body at least, I can definitely take matters into my own hands by just making sure that I exercise right. I might look into getting a waist trainer though, just because like sometimes I feel like there's just ever so slightly a thicker layer of, I don't know if it's loose skin. It's got to be that, right? Around my midsection that was not there in my 20s or my early 30s even. So it's not really clockable necessarily to other people, but I notice it. So and this is not me picking myself apart, by the way. This is me like setting very high reaching goals for myself in my level up journey. Like I feel everyone should. Why not? You should reach for the stars. Oh, you want to know? Okay, one thing that I really want to do. So I saw this girl's video blow up on TikTok where she said that, God, I can't remember. I'll try to link it or something if I can find the original video, but she made a video about how she decided that she was chasing 1,000 rejections. So I don't know if she did this last year or if she's actively still doing the challenge this year, but the whole idea is that like um it's kind of like I think it's a really clever manifestation technique because it's like you are chasing you are trying to get as many rejections as fast as possible to hopefully get to the 1,000 number, and in doing so you'll actually find that um, your application will be accepted more times than you would expect, or that people would say yes to you more than you would expect. But the thing is, like, by saying that you're chasing the rejections instead of, oh, I'm chasing 1,000 goals, it takes the pressures off of you to achieve those goals, right? And so you don't have to deal with the anticipation and the anxiety of, oh, well, what if I don't reach the goal? Then I'm going to feel like a failure. If you reframe it like, well, I want to see how many rejections I can get um, as possible throughout this entire year. I want to see if I can get like up to 1,000 rejections. If you reframe it that way, then it takes away like your anxiety and your attachment to wanting the favorable outcome, right? Like wanting to be picked for whatever projects that you apply to, which helps you gain momentum and just like not overthink things and just apply to whatever is out there, which is actually going to work towards your favor in the long run, because you'll what you find often is that you will get accepted to more things than you ever even expected, right? So I want to do my own 1000 rejections challenge. And yeah, I didn't really articulate that well just now off the fly, but I might do a separate video about like how I'm going to go about chasing my own 1000 rejections this year. And maybe I can tweak the rules for myself as well to include YouTube videos. Maybe I can count like every time I do a live stream or every time I upload a long form video, a long form piece of content online. I can count that as one of the rejections, right? Because technically, like whenever I put a video out there, it's kind of, I could think of it as, okay, if the video does well, if it gets a lot of views and engagement, then that would mean an acceptance. But if the video flops, or if it doesn't resonate with people and it doesn't get that many views, then that could count as a rejection, right? But still, the idea is the same. Like the more rejections that I can just plow through at a quicker and quicker pace, the faster it's going to lead me to those inevitable bumps in the road that are going to pan out to be actually acceptances, right? Or successes. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. I really like that idea. I think it's so genius to frame it as I want to get rejected 1,000 times, right? Because if anything, at the end of the day, even if you apply to 1,000 things and you get rejected from every single one, which again, statistically, it's impossible, right? But even if you did get rejected, you still accomplished something, right? Like you can look back and still say, wow, I actually did that. I put in all that work to I challenged myself, right? And I didn't let my fear or my anxiety or my fear of failure stop me from even getting started, or even, you know, uh, failure to launch, right? Yeah, I'm excited about that. Oh my God. So I think that's a good strategy. If I count live streaming, or if I count uploading a video as one tally towards my 1,000 rejections. And then I can also count, for example, like, see, this can also push me to do something else that I've been putting off forever, which is, I have like a whole running list of brands, like the PR contacts of certain makeup brands that I should have reached out to long ago by now, but I never got around to it. Because again, I think if I'm honest with myself, it's because I let myself get mentally tripped up every time about, okay, but who am I? Like, who do I think I am? This is never going to work. How can I just cold email a bunch of makeup brands? Like, they're never going to want to send me PR because my channel's not that big. All of these things that we subconsciously tell ourselves, if I just reframe it to, okay, but how many rejections can I get in as little time as possible? Then, oh, okay, challenge accepted, right? Let me just blast out an email to 5 brands a day at least, and then let's see how many rejections I get. So yeah, there's 365 days in a year, right? So that would mean that I'd have to take action on at least 3 things, like 3 new opportunities every single day. And that one of those can be a live stream, one can be a pitch email to a beauty brand to get on their PR list or whatever, and then another one could just be anything miscellaneous, like applying to a job, um, applying to take in a filming project, etc. I mean, like last year, I literally was selected to go on a Japanese talk show, right? So I already can check that off my list, but there's more projects in the future. There's always going to be more projects and more opportunities. So if I just make sure I do on average 3 a day, like 2 to 3, then I think it's very doable. It's very possible to reach that 1,000 number by the end of this year. Oh no, I have to go soon. I have to go in 5 minutes because I do have to make it seem like I'm doing something productive at my actual job before I go to this interview. I need to put on a lip. What do I want to do for my lip? Okay. I'm going to use the same lip liner as always, although I really should get a different color. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing I always do, which is just like a darker lip liner and a baby pink gloss. This one is the Lip Plumper, I think, from Bise. This is kind of my idea of like the updated 90s lip combo with the darker liner and the lighter gloss. You know what else I could get done? I could get my personal color analysis done because I've been on the fence about that for literally the past 2 years, and it's not because I I don't mind getting it done, but the thing is, I want to make sure I find the right person to do my color analysis. You know what I mean? I don't want it to just be any old random walk-in place. I want to like properly research and make sure that I actually like the work or I agree with the work and the assessment of the color theorist. I don't know what they're called, but the consultant, right? Beforehand. I don't want it to just be like some random person. Because so many people doing color analysis now because it's a boom. But I'm actually really picky about the people that I take direction from. So I don't mind paying. I don't mind, doing the research and digging around to see what I like. But if I'm going to take lessons from anyone, if I'm going to take direction from anyone, it has to be from someone that I actually um, admire their work and not just going off the fact that they're a professional or they have a certification technically in this field. That doesn't really mean anything if I don't agree with their vision. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's kind of like just the age old saying don't take advice from anyone that you wouldn't switch places with or anyone that doesn't have the desired result that you want. Why would you take advice from them, right? You should find somebody that has as close as possible, if not exactly, if not exceeding the actual result that you're looking for, and learn directly from them if possible. But even when you learn from them, right, you're still your own sovereign person. So you can never just copy and paste someone else's technique. You gotta learn the skill also of adapting any and all advice to your own personal life circumstances. I feel like this looks kind of harsh, the contrast. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna use this Fenty Gloss Balm because I still like this color the best, I think. Not the biggest fan of the Fenty formula because it's still a little thick and sticky for my taste, but it does look good on camera. Yeah, I want to look into corsets and what else? Professional makeup class, corsets, facelift technology, um, smile lines, erasing technology. Just want to get a feel for what's out there. Mm, there's got to be more than that, right? practice more of certain makeup styles and techniques that I kind of tend to avoid just because I feel like I don't have the skill for it. But if I did have the skill for it, I would probably do it more often, such as individual eyebrows and also what else? Oh my god, this is too sticky. Individual eyebrows. Uh, I might also look into shaving my face because that's a thing here in Asia. Like women shave their facial hair so that their skincare can soak in better, and also it just looks better. It gives you like automatic glass skin because you don't have the little fuzzy hairs to like break the illusion of the glossiness of your skin. And what else? There was one more thing. Oh, I want to get rid of like forehead wrinkles here. Like when I have like I've had these wrinkles ever since I was a teenager. This is not even an aging thing. I feel like this is just how my forehead is built. But like even if I just slightly raise my eyes, you can immediately see a bunch of lines. Um so I mean that's fine, but now like recently I noticed that even when I'm relaxed, I can see like one, two, three faint wrinkles. So if possible, I'd like to get a handle on those before they have a chance to deepen. And what else? Fashion, you know, I find myself getting lazy a lot. I fall victim to the trap of convenience more and more, I find. Like, for example, it's really cold outside now, so I'm just tempted to just wear these huge baggy sweaters and warm pants all the time. But then I see women outside who are still on their baddie tip, with their cute dresses and stuff. Like they have their puffer coats on, but they still are wearing a nice dress. They're wearing their cute little dainty heels or their boots. And I know they're freezing because their legs are exposed, but damn if they don't look good while they're at it, right? So I want to join those girls. Okay. I don't want to be the girl that's just like always outside in my fleece pants 24/7 because I'm cold and I can't be bothered. Like, yes, on the one hand, justified, but on the other hand, I don't want to look back in 50 years and be like, damn, why didn't I try harder? Like while I still have the body and everything, why didn't I just take advantage of it and flaunt it every chance that I got? Like that's the kind of energy we need to be on in 2026. So okay, I think, oh no, I don't want to leave. This was so fun. I like hanging out with my girlies on live stream. But I guess I have to go do some work now. What do I even have to do? I have a bunch of tickets that I need to follow up on. Um, I have I have to fill out my timesheet. That's important because the end of the month is coming up, so I got to fill out my expenses and my timesheet. And I have one other lunch scheduled with some of the IT guys on February 10th. So I'll go to that one because these are certain members that I can stand to be with, They don't annoy the crap out of me with their conversation. Um, I do feel like, okay, it's not I don't want to socialize. I do, but that's the challenge, right? Just because I have this desire to socialize and go to different events and meet with new people, it doesn't mean that I should just accept any old like opportunity that comes my way, right? Like I really need to be discerning. I only have a limited amount of energy and time, so I need to this is like a promise to myself. I need to make sure that things are worth it before I commit to going. So, okay, I will leave you with one thing. This is kind of crazy, but I was asking ChatGPT the other day, what are some like unconventional ways to meet wealthy people or like people that are basically living on their own schedule, right? Whether they run their own company or they're already semi-retired. Like the guy that I met in Dubai who took me around everywhere, he was basically semi-retired, if I had to take a guess, at 34, which is pretty impressive. And he also just the energy that he moved with, like you could tell that he was not worried about money or scarcity of time or money, things like that. So I want to be around more people that have that kind of a mentality, right? Even though he did end up being kind of annoying in the end, by trying to get my attention by sending the same picture of his shisha every day. But you know what I mean. And when I say shisha, I mean actual shisha. That's not a euphemism for anything. Like he was just trying to show me that, hey, I'm smoking my shisha every day. Oh, I'm saving so much money. But yeah, I still have his key though to his downtown apartment. So if you don't ask for it back, dude, as far as I'm concerned, I have free range to use your apartment anytime I'm in town, whenever he's not in the UAE, whenever he's abroad for a business trip. But nevertheless, what was I saying? Yeah, so I was asking ChatGPT, like, what are some other places that I can go to meet such people, right? Like high net worth individuals. And you want to know something crazy? The craziest suggestion that I saw was courtrooms. So apparently, I don't know about other countries, but I think like in America and also Japan, you can actually sit in on certain court cases because it's most of them are like open to the public, right? So if you like here in Japan, I think it differs depending on the ward. But anyway, if you like register beforehand as just a public viewer, you can actually go in and watch like a court proceeding. And apparently, I don't know because I haven't tried it out yet, so maybe I need to test this out. But apparently, there's a lot of, if you can imagine, like retired, already financially free old guys that go to these things because they're the ones that have time in the middle of their day to go to random court trials or proceedings. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna look into that. And if I feel compelled to join one in the near future, of course, I will keep you guys updated and give you a play by play on another live stream. But what was another suggestion? I mean, it's the court thing is not so surprising if you just think about the general rule that people who have money and people who don't rely on, you know, a paycheck for their livelihood, the biggest indicator is their freedom of time, right? So they're the ones that are out like eating brunch on a Tuesday, eating like enjoying a 2 or 3 hour brunch by themselves at some upscale restaurant because the rest of the population is usually at work during those hours, right? So during like the off peak hours, they are the ones that are out frequenting, like the hotel bars and lounges and things like that. And I guess the courtrooms just happen to be one of those areas that are frequented by um, those people with excess freedom of time and money. And what else? Yeah, gyms as well. Maybe that's something, maybe that's another hurdle that I have to get over because I've never stepped into a public gym. It's just never been my thing. Like, I don't feel comfortable working out in front of other people, strangers nonetheless. And I just don't like the idea of working out in a gym. I much prefer to walk outside. I can walk for like 2 to 3 hours straight, um, and not get bored because you get the scenery and it's not as strenuous as jogging. So I always prefer to walk or take a Pilates class, take a pole dancing class, but maybe, I don't know. I've been hearing consistently for the past several years now that you can meet, again, high net worth individuals in the gym, right? So if it's a nice gym, in the nice part of town, so maybe I need to look into that. And maybe I don't need to commit to signing up for a full on membership necessarily, but if I can find certain gyms that have day passes or something, like maybe I should take myself out of my comfort zone and make myself at least try certain gyms in wealthy areas on a day pass. So lots of possibilities, 1,000 rejections, remember. I'm chasing those 1,000 rejections, so I'm trying to get through all the duds as quickly as possible so that I can get to the pot of gold in a timely manner, right? So that it doesn't take me like 5 to 10 years. If I just if I make it a game, if you gamify like trial and error in your life, I feel like you can make a lot more headway in that sense. All right, so I'm going to sign off now cuz yeah, it's 9:45. I will catch you guys later. And remember to always feel free to leave in the comments if you want me to discuss a certain topic. I'll see you later. Bye.